This is Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com, and today I have with me the HTC Imagio for Verizon Wireless. It's a large touchscreen equipped Windows Mobile 6.5 device and also supports Verizon's VCast mobile TV service thanks to this little pop-out antenna here. VCast TV makes use of Qualcomm's MediaFlow TV network. It's an all-digital network, and I'll show you a little bit more about that later. First, let's take a look at the hardware design. See, we've got a 5 megapixel autofocus camera on the back. There's no flash or self-portrait mirror. A slick, glossy black surface here on about a third of the rear cover. On the right-hand edge, volume control. There's no camera shutter button. Here's a 3.6-inch wide VGA resistive touchscreen on the front. Down at the bottom, you'll see we have a number of hardware buttons: call send, call end. Back button, which is the same as the OK button in earlier versions of Windows Mobile Professional. A customizable media button that can be set to just about anything the user wants, defaults to the television application, and of course the start menu. The little tick marks across the bottom are for zoom control for HTC's TouchFlow 3D system. Works in the browser and certain other parts of the system like messaging. Nothing much at all to see on the left-hand edge. Bottom has a 3.5mm stereo headphone jack and a mini USB power port, and also for USB connectivity. Nothing on top other than the little pry piece for removing the rear cover, which is a little bit difficult to do. If you look, you can see the nice pattern that runs around the complete edge of the device. It's kind of looks like a mesh of sorts. It's really very attractive, and not something I remember seeing on any other devices recently. The Imagio is a fairly hefty device. It weighs 156 grams. That's about 4.5 ounces. About the size of a Touch HD, I suppose. It's still quite pocketable. It's relatively thin, but it's not a lightweight device by any stretch. At the bottom of the device, we also have a stylus. Touchscreen on the Imagio is pretty finger-friendly. You probably won't be using this very often, but there are some people that do prefer using a stylus with a resistive touchscreen. Now that we have the device powered on, you can see HTC's TouchFlow 3D user interface, which sits atop of Windows Mobile 6.5. You use swipe gestures to move from panel to panel. It's easier to use the tab control at the bottom, though. One of the highlight features on the Imagio is its television capability. So we're going to pop up the dual-purpose antenna kickstand here, which makes a nice stand for when you're sitting the device on a tabletop, and we're going to press the media button to bring up the VCast mobile TV application. This is a digital TV service, so you have access to a guide that you can move through and see what the scheduled programs are and everything like that. It runs a little bit slowly at times. You can use swipe gestures to move from station to station. Video quality is not as good as it might appear on other devices with smaller displays because the pixels are much larger here, but it's still pretty decent. We'll take a look at the lock screen here by tapping on the power button. And you'll notice at the bottom right here, while the screen's still locked, we have a calendar appointment notice. And up here at the top, you can see the lock control. If we tap on it, we get to see what that little 1 means there. It means we have a new message. Tap on it again, make it go away. Now we could unlock the phone just by swiping it over, but if we unlock it by swiping on this message indicator, it'll take us right to the email application so we can see what the new message is. That functionality is also supposed to work for SMS messages, but it has not worked consistently for me. It does work well for missed calls, though. Let's take a look at some of the panels in the TouchFlow 3D system. This is the base panel. It used to be just time, but now weather information has been included in it. You can pull up the weather panel just by tapping on it directly. Also, upcoming appointments and things like that. Probably the most useful of the panels is My Favorites, which is the links to all the contacts and such. You can see these are our favorite contacts. Flips through with nice animations. You can send a message, call, or send email to these contacts directly from this screen just by tapping on them and then pressing one of these buttons along here. Pull up all the contacts with the soft key at the bottom. This is the full contact list. You can see there are index points here, so you can skip ahead to a particular letter. Next tab over is favorites. If you look here, you'll notice there's a little Facebook icon in this contact's photo, and there's an exclamation point right here. That means that icon is coming from a linked Facebook account, one of our Facebook contacts, and the exclamation point means we have new messages waiting. So we're going to click on Bob Smith here and get into his contact viewer. And this is the base contact information. If we move over to messages, you can see any messages sent to or received from Bob Smith right here, text messages. New email messages, hence the exclamation point. You can see this is just a quick message sent from a test account. If Bob had any Facebook entries, we'd see them here, and of course here's call history. We'll go back and pull up that other Facebook enabled contact just so you can see what the Facebook updates look like. You can see a profile picture was updated, and then here's an actual update. This links through to the web browser. There's no built-in Facebook application on the device by default, so these links all go to the web browser. And here you can see the Facebook update. The Contacts application also has a tab just for Facebook updates and things like that. And of course call history. This is the messaging pane in TouchFlow 3D. You can see I can swipe up and down to get to a message. If I tap on it, it brings me up to the threaded SMS view inside the contact editor. And there's also access to all messages here, which brings you to the entire inbox. You can see Windows Mobile 6.5, this version, everything's a little bit prettier looking. Different colors, a little bit of gradient colors going on, and of course HTC has their own menus in here. You get to the main message view again, and this is HTC's QWERTY keyboard. It's very similar to the one used in the HTC Hero, which is an Android-powered device. Similar to the messaging pane is the email pane. You can swipe through, look at your messages, tap on one to bring up that particular message. I'll show you the scroll control while I'm here down at the bottom of the screen. If I swipe to the right, it gets larger. Swipe to the left, it gets smaller. You can see formatted text is supported. We've got bolds, colors, HTML, all that kind of stuff in here. You can also go to the inbox, and you can move from account to account by swiping. So I can get from the SMS inbox to the email inbox by swiping. Since there's no D-pad control or anything like that, if you want to do something to a particular message without opening it, you long press on it and it brings up the full menu. So I could mark it as unread, for example.